All right, hey guys, Mr. Kennedy here. So now we're on chapter 5 for Egypt and Cush and lesson 4, the kingdom of Cush. So finally time to get to those people. And so it matters. So the kingdoms of Nubia and Cush were influenced by Egyptian culture and they continued many Egyptian traditions. So they took a lot of things from their culture and put it into their own culture. So let's find out all about the kingdom of Cush here in lesson 4 of your video notes. So here we are in the kingdom of Cush, and the kingdom of Cush is going to be located just south of the Egyptian empire. So we're going to be right here in a second. So right there, 750 BC. Now you can see that the kingdom of Cush is going to occur much later in the time period after ancient Egypt, and they're going to take some things from the Egyptians and really put it into their own culture and their own traditions.
Jesse, director, if you're in the building, please call 18761. Thank you.
So although it's the kingdom of Cush, these people are also going to be referred to as the Nubians. And we're going to kind of take a look at their kind of differences between Nubia and Egypt. So let's first look at their land. So the land of Nubia were made up of savannas, and those are one of your vocab words, and it's that large, flat grasslands, while the area in Egypt is going to be made up of desert lands and river valleys. So the water source for Nubia is going to be obtained mainly by rainfall. Kind of going through there. Like I said, guys, the water source is going to be obtained mainly by rainfall in Nubia versus the Egyptians. They're going to use the Nile River as their water source. Now, when it comes to crops, the people down in Nubia are going to eat things like beans, yams, rice, and grains. And while the ancient Egyptians are really going to be focused on wheat, rice, and other grains because they have kind of a different area and different landscape. They're going to grow different things as well as their water source is different. So although they are in different areas, remember the Nubians in that kingdom of Cush, they're going to take a lot of things from the Egyptians and kind of this word cultural diffusion that Miss Hodges is about to tell you all about. So there you go, guys, for Mr. Kennedy's part here on your video notes. And I think we're going to have Miss Hodges come in.
Yeah, here I
Oh, there she is.
Right, now it's my turn. All right, guys, let's move right along. This is going to be so easy this time. Okay, so the Nubians. This is an area where Mr. Kennedy told you it's in the southern part of Egypt or along the Nile River. And this Nubian society has strong villages would conquer the weaker ones, and they started to get their kingdom bigger and bigger. And they formed the kingdom of Kerma. And Kerma and Egypt develop a very close relationship. They're very much alike. That idea of cultural diffusion. So it's like if you get your hair cut a certain way, I'm going to get my hair cut like that because I like it too. And if you're wearing white linen clothes like King Tut did and we think that's beautiful, well, I'm going to wear that too. And if you build pyramids like over here, look at those pyramids down in Nubia. They look a little similar to, not quite as good as Egypt, but they really tried. So the Egyptian armies invade Nubia with the help of the Kermas, I guess you say that. And the Nubians adopted this belief from the Egyptians in that cultural diffusion, and they're going to share ideas. So the Nubians form an independent kingdom known as Cush, same people. And Mr. Kennedy told me earlier that Nub, N-U-B, is the word for gold. And so there's a lot of gold located down in that part of Africa. Right down there. See where the map was? It just highlighted. And the Cushite king invades Egypt. And he reaches the city of Thebes, which is one of their capital cities. And then King Paye completes this conquest of Egypt. So Cush slowly moves closer and closer and gets closer to, let's use a little pin here. Right here, they're going to move closer and closer up into Egypt. And they're going to try to go in and conquer Egypt. And finally, they do. They keep working on that and they get all the way in there. Then the Assyrians, when your enemies are always watching, and now that you're weak, the Assyrians come from the north and they start to invade as well. And the Assyrians are defending part of the Egyptians, and they want that land and they want that trade that they had back. So they help Egypt defeat the Cushites. And the Cushite leaders then move their capital back down here. They go back to where they were, near the Nile River. There's abundance of resources there, and it makes it a good trading city. And things kind of calm down for a little while, and they just work together and trade. Then eventually, the armies of Axum, which is another area that's going to be located. Where is Axum? They are like right around here. I don't see them on this map, but right about there. They invade Kush and they destroy the whole city. So it's kind of warfare all up and down the Nile River about who's going to have control over all these resources. And eventually it weakens the whole kingdom. Everybody, the whole area gets weaker and weaker, and it opens up the door for another enemy to come in and take over everything. Egypt's never going to be as strong as it was during this time, during the Middle Kingdom. The New Kingdom, it starts to lose strength. It gets attacked from all areas, and it never really gets that grandeur back that it used to have. All the pomp and circumstance and the great achievements and things like that, they start to lose some of that. And they never really get it back. And eventually they will be conquered by Rome, and they'll have their last their last pharaoh, and it'll be taken over and be part of Rome. So sad little tale that's coming. But we'll find out about that later. So your hot question: how did the Nubian and the Egyptian cultures influence each other? And we talked a little bit about that, and we're going to talk more about that in class. So if you can, if you want to do a little extra research on that, you can do that. Here's a picture of the Nubians right here. And here's a picture of the Egyptians. If you look at those two pictures, you can see some of those influences that they had, and you can see a little bit of how they are exactly the same. So 3 sentences minimum, and then you can figure out what else you want to add to that. Definitely don't start it with I think Nubia and Egypt influence each other because, or Nubia influenced Egypt by, or Egypt influences Nubia by. And remember what I said about this word for the Nubian word. Wow, there we go. Nubian word. This is an influence right here, just what that word Nubia means, okay? All right, so there you go, and this is our video. Sorry Miss Tickle wasn't here. She had to leave and go pick up her daughter. So it was just me and Mr. Kendi holding down just us holding down the fort this time. So good luck with your video notes, and we will see you soon. We have lots to talk about next week during Co-Teach, so we can't wait. Love you. Bye.